Ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on 105.5 The Team in Rochester. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL CEO, Mr. Zach Stanley.
What's up, Jonald? I only got a few more days until Bills camp.
Again, you have
only
to keep
a few more days.
You have to keep bringing up Bills camp, the event that we will not be attending because of a certain clerical error in our paperwork.
Oh, I have like 8 free tickets.
Do you really?
Yeah.
But do you get access on the field to go talk to players?
No, I have to lean over a
Railing?
Railing, yeah.
I really think we should just take a press pass and just walk down there. It's going to happen. I'm going to figure out a way to make this go away.
Does that mean you'll have to hurt someone? We don't condone violence here at the Star Fantasy League Show.
You know what? We have a certain someone that could persuade people. That would be Teddy Bear 2 next to Steblenko. I think you can casually just persuade.
He's an enforcer.
Yeah, it might have to do with his size or his teddy bear demeanor.
You wouldn't like him when he's angry, though.
Oh, when he heats up, we don't like being in this office.
We have to like roll our chairs on your carpet back a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I like to associate myself with another Teddy in our American history, Teddy Roosevelt, who said, "Speak softly and carry a big stick," which is pretty much the epitome of my being.
So wait, is that why you have a large stick with you at all times in the office?
No, I'm just jacked.
Oh,
Check it out.
He's talking about those 2 dangling twigs on his arms.
Yeah.
He got Gandalf's cane replica off eBay, I think.
That's a little weird.
Actually, I did have one of those in college. Funny story. I'll tell it to you sometime.
Okay, I was gonna say that's not this isn't fantasy time.
This isn't Nick's college storytelling time.
I know the word. I know the word fantasy.
You brought it up, okay?
The word fantasy is in Star Fantasy Leagues, but not that kind of fantasy. We're not talking Lord of the Rings.
I would have been a hell
We
of a
don't play
wizard.
with magic cards.
Whoa. When I was like 10, that was cool, man. 10.
So were Pogs.
Hey, I had those too.
Well, I had a yo-yo.
So did I.
What are those
Yo-yos.
yo-yos
Yo-yos
called?
were
That
dope.
special
They're called
Omega.
Oh, so they're called
yeah.
yo-yos. What are those yo-yos called? They're called yo-yos.
What was the best trick that you could pull off?
I could walk the dog.
Of course, everyone and their mother could. Literally, my mother could.
Oh
walk
my
the dog.
God! Listen to this.
Come on
Around
now.
the world, I got the around the
Yep,
world.
I
down.
could do
That was
around the
pretty
world.
solid.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we need to move
You
on.
couldn't do any of that, John.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth.
You were busy with your magic cards.
When I was 10.
That's what we were doing when we were 10.
Okay.
Sucker.
Wow, we're getting a little aggressive here on the show today.
John loved his dreidel.
Wow, that's no Jews like dreidels. Come on now.
Is that true?
No, nobody likes dreidels.
They have a song about it.
Yeah, but they force you to play with it, and you're like, this is it? This is all we got these
What
days?
actual person ever made their dreidel?
Nobody.
No,
Nobody cares.
out of clay.
No. You bought it at like some store.
That's what the song says.
Yeah,
They were
they're
plastic.
It's a store. It's a stupid
A clay
store.
dreidel is high quality.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, those are rare.
That's a thing. Yeah, right. All right, we got to get to the top stories of the day. For the 18th day in a row, the top story continues to be NBA free agency, because let's be honest, it's just so much going on in such a quick time. We don't even have a quarter of the story like together yet on the show.
Yeah, the soap opera continues one day at a time.
As LeBron turns.
It's more just falling into place at this point.
Well, yes, it is, but it's still a soap opera.
Yeah, but the thing is, we still haven't talked about a lot of this. I mean, we've talked about the Houston situation, how they struck out quite a bit, and they look a little foolish at this point. We've talked about the Heatles and Cleveland and all that good stuff. We still haven't talked about a very prominent figure who was rumored to be going everywhere, anywhere, and everywhere in between, but he stayed home, Carmelo Anthony.
Good for him.
Really?
I'm fine with it. I think that they're going to have a good shot at rebuilding. They're definitely putting themselves in a position for the Kevin Durant sweepstakes, which is just a couple years away.
Okay, but do you really think the Kevin Durant sweepstakes is actually a sweepstakes? Do you believe that he has a chance of going anywhere but home, Washington, or back to OKC?
Did you think LeBron James was going to leave home
Okay.
4 years ago?
Okay.
And if you knew he was going to leave, did you think that it was going to be to Miami? No, he went to Miami because Dwayne Wade drew him there.
Yeah, but do you think
So what's to say Carmelo Anthony doesn't draw Kevin Durant there?
Do you think Kevin Durant's the same kind of guy? He's a little bit older than LeBron was at this point in the process.
Well, the
he
game
seems a lot more
changed.
mature.
The game changed when LeBron did what he did, and that whole summer changed the entire game of free agency in basketball. It really did. I hate to say it, but LeBron James kind of took some power away from the owners and the front office when he did what he did.
Why do you hate to say that?
Because I don't like the way that happened. I don't like that. I think that's the wrong way to go about playing the game.
So the worst thing for the players is more power at this point?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm
say,
saying
yeah,
is
that
I don't
almost
like
went bad.
I don't like that players are literally forming their own teams. I don't think that's the right way to go. I think at free agency, if you're in a situation like Kevin Love, where you're not even going to the playoffs, he hasn't even played in a single playoff game in his career, that warrants you getting out and trying to go to a different team. LeBron James was in the finals. He had a chance to win a championship, albeit they played a much better team and they honestly were outmatched, but he had a chance to win a championship.
How can you say that is all that's going on now, that has become the culture of the NBA, when pretty much every domino that we've seen fall so far has been money focused?
Yeah, it really has been money focused.
Pretty much everybody that is either left or gone anywhere. Bosch didn't go.
For the insane 5-year, $100.
Carmelo didn't go.
I'm just saying, I think that the conversation, it kind of revolves around, are they going to get together? Are they going to go to this team together? That is what the game looks like now.
Well, I think the big advantage to this still stays with the owners of the individual teams for these players, some of them that they have drafted, some that they have gotten along the way, but their ability to retain these players for a larger amount of money has been very helpful in keeping them on board.
Well, it's no secret. I mean, this league is profiting at a remarkable rate. They have done so many great things over the past couple decades. It allows them to keep raising the bar.
Well, and don't forget the TV rights deals are coming up, I believe, in the next
2016.
2 years.
That's why LeBron did what he did. He signed a 2-year contract because he knows he can get more money.
Because they expect the cap to go. They expect the cap to go crazy. It's at 67 right now, I believe.
They're expecting it to go up like 13
If
million.
that happens, the max deal he could potentially sign, which could be like his last full max deal. Who knows? 5 years. I don't know. $200 million. We don't even know.
Yeah.
It leaves the decision in his hands to decide what he wants to take and what he wants to help utilize to get other people on the team. I like the Carmelo decision. I think it's cool that he's staying in New York.
But
I like the Derek Fisher hire. I really do. I love Phil Jackson. I think that they can put a good team together.
They really need to stop applauding him for the fact that he took $5 million under the max. That was the biggest thing in the world. Oh, he took $5 million less. He only took $124 million.
Every little bit helps.
Seriously, it's an extra $1 million a year.
I'm guessing that what they offered him and his agreement had something to do with how they were looking at those numbers structurally. I guarantee it.
Hopefully. I mean, I don't expect them to really sign anybody this year, do you? I mean, do you expect this to be a decent competing team? They have nobody.
I think they can make the playoffs. That's about as good as it gets.
Well, let's be honest. The East is looking interesting this year. We have...
Well, finally.
Yeah, exactly. There could be 6 teams that are interesting, including the Charlotte Hornet Cats of Bobtown.
I mean, a big signing today, right?
Yeah, they just signed. I can't believe this is even happening. Lance Stevenson is going to the Charlotte Hornets. I think that's a great deal. They struck out on Gordon Hayward. They had a big offer for him, the max deal, 4 years for $63. Utah matched it, which I was actually a little surprised about. And they went out and said, we got a backup plan. They're paying him $9 million a year.
But I mean, again, is there any strategical move by offering Gordon Hayward a max contract like that? I mean, I don't think that Utah really wanted to get rid of him.
No, they definitely
I don't think they really wanted to let him go. So offering a max contract, again, forces Utah to make a move. Now they take him back. And, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they did luck out with Stevenson because I know he was rumored to go a lot of different places.
Well, the fact is, I can't believe there was no bidding war for this guy. I know a lot of GMs are kind of scared of people who have their own, eccentricities to them. Mm-hmm. People are like, okay, well, how does he fit here? But somebody like Michael Jordan's not going to be like, well, this guy's uncoachable. Because guess what? To him, probably everybody's coachable.
They've got some reasonable pieces in place, and I think that they have a chance to make a little bit more noise than they did this past year, but not much more.
Really?
I think that losing McRoberts is actually pretty big because now you have Zeller starting and you have nobody back behind him really.
Yeah, but that was that's the plan when you draft somebody like Cody Zeller. You want him to be able
I know, but they just don't have that. I mean, Biombo?
Well, yeah, Biombo's gone. Actually, he might still be there. But
think he's still there.
Yeah, barely. Well, the problem they screwed up is they offered this giant deal to Gordon Hayward, and in the process didn't have the money to say, hey, McBob, here's the money we give you. But as soon as they matched, if McBob was still on the market, I'm sure they would have just said, oh, sorry about that. Here's the money we
How big of a role does he really play on that?
He was pretty good last year.
Okay, he had one of the best years of his career.
Yeah.
He's very effective. He stretches the court, and he's just another big man. They're kind of undersized now. Al Jefferson isn't a very good defensive center.
Well, we know that, but wasn't he also injured for much of the season too?
No. Al Jefferson? No.
No, McRoberts.
No.
He didn't miss any time last year.
Okay, I'm not saying that he didn't miss any time, but he wasn't
like
injured for a fourth of the season or something like that.
He was solid all year round. He was actually a pretty decent force for them in the playoffs, albeit they were only in for 4 games. But I like him a lot.
I don't know, but you have Lance Stevenson coming in. He's a very good number 2 to Kemba Walker. That's a good tandem in the backcourt.
Kemba Walker is going to have to seriously turn a corner for them to suddenly be a team that can get a 5th or 4th
Isn't this his
seed.
3rd or 4th season? I mean, this is where he comes into his own. This is it. This is his time. He has Jefferson.
All right. So tell me where the Bobcats finish then. The Hornets.
The Horn Cats.
The Bobnuts. I think they could vie for the 5th seed. I think they could definitely get there.
I have them at this is about the 6 area.
What were they last year? 7?
The Nets.
That's an improvement.
That's what I said.
They were
A slight improvement.
Weren't they? Oh no, they were right. They did pop into 7.
You guys
A
are
slight
talking about how
improvement, but they're
McRoberts.
not going to be able to make the kind of noise with this team that they currently have set up to be a big force.
All right,
They're
I took that as you saying McRoberts is a big
They're
deal.
one piece away. They continue to be. One more team we have to talk about in the East. How about the Bulls signing Gasol, finally amnestying Boozer? Finally. I can't believe they waited this long to do it.
I think if Derrick Rose is healthy, this is the number 1 team in the East.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't know if they're a clear-cut number 1, but they're going to be in the conversation of Indiana and whatever Cleveland puts out there.
I agree with you. I think this was a massive addition. Pau Gasol coming in. You're going to have, especially with the maturation of Taj Gibson, you're going to have Noah, Gibson, and Gasol all cycling minutes. There's never going to be a solid, not a solid big man down there.
Yeah, that's great.
And the other pieces that they have in place, I mean, what we saw from Jimmy Butler was just awesome.
That's just a team.
He is on a huge uptick right now, and he could easily just keep getting better if he can improve his jump shot.
Yeah, they're money.
The only problem, I don't like that they lost DJ Augustine.
That was definitely a tough loss
secondary
off the
scoring
bench.
right
They're
there.
going to bring Heinrich back. Who cares?
With his glasses.
Yeah, and the new look Wizards, man. They just signed Dwan Blair today. They have an interesting lineup. They brought all their big pieces back. I'm really intrigued to see what they do.
Except Trevor Ariza.
Who? Paul Pierce, baby. Paul Pierce. God. I know, I love him. I can't help it. Celtic green, whatever. Coming after the break, it's time for John Olds Mailbag. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
The Star Fantasy League Show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
All right, apparently in the last segment, we closed off very quickly talking about the new look or old look Washington Wizards, adding Paul Pierce, adding DeJuan Blair. I believe they have one more signing that I'm completely forgetting about right now.
I don't have it.
Yeah, they had another guy. God, of course I forget.
Well, they gave Gortat a massive contract.
Yeah, that doesn't really count. He was there, and what a big part he was of that offense.
Gortat.
But I did neglect to mention sort of that Trevor Ariza was just basically replaced by Paul Pierce. It's going to hurt them defensively, although Paul Pierce can play the 4, which I guess that's why they got rid of Booker, sort of. They didn't really need to pay him.
Yeah, well, Booker wasn't. I mean,
Booker was off the bench.
Yeah, so I'm saying he's a piece that Paul Pierce is going to probably not play that much.
Booker also didn't really thrive when he was given a shot at the starting role either.
That's also.
I think the issue here is that with Ariza, Beal, and Wall, you have 3 pieces that could get out and run. Paul Pierce can't do that at this point in time. He is a half-court shooter right now. Mm-hmm. And so I think that hinders things a little bit. Also, as you mentioned, defensively, Trevor Ariza has been slowly turning into a top defensive player.
Well, even from his days in Los Angeles, he was a pretty good defender. He was never like a below average
I think
defender.
he's pretty great now.
That's what I'm saying. He was always a guy that was talked about as a
grown
defensive
significantly.
guy. Okay, there you go.
And I just think that's a little damaging for them. But the way that we could see Bradley Beal coming along, which is definitely possible, he could get a lot. He could make a significant jump.
He did in the playoffs.
This
He
year.
looked really good in the playoffs.
I would say that they're top 4.
Really?
You think so? Who do they kick out in the 4?
I'm kicking out.
Miami?
Toronto, probably.
No, Toronto. I would put
let's see.
5.
We've got. It's going to be a crazy
Well, I would
East.
hit-
You know?
That's what I'm saying. There are
I would
6 teams,
put
real good teams.
5
in
or
the
4. Fine, 5 or 4.
I would be going Chicago, Indiana, Cleveland, and then that's where you kick out Toronto because they finished third.
Cleveland even below Indiana with the loss of Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I think Indiana's going to be good.
I'll take
I really do.
Cleveland. I'll take Cleveland over.
And
Indiana.
I think you're pushing Miami down too far. You're pushing Miami down to like the 6th spot.
I
think
think
Miami
Miami
can
could
still
come
be
in
a-
fifth. They could probably come in fifth.
That
I'm
4 or
sure-
5
I
is
mean,
good.
They lost their number one scorer. This is going to be a tough season for them. It
We'll
really
go through.
is.
We'll go through our full season projections leading up once we actually.
Oh, we're
get
gonna do it like 8 right after free agency kind of cools down. We'll do it,
rank.
and then we'll do it
rank
before the season.
the divisions.
Let's be honest. We're gonna do everything. I love it. I love that the East is competitive. We just talked about 6, maybe 7 teams that are gonna be not just in the playoffs, but actually competing.
Yeah,
in
the East is
playoffs.
going to be a battle, which is cool, and maybe even more than the West. I would say the overall skill in the West is better, but I think the battle between teams, say from 5 to 1, could end up being better in the East.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I think that's a fight for another day because we talked about the East all day today. We'll save the West for another day.
All right, fine.
Okay.
I'm just saying you're definitely wrong.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna take the high road on this one. I'm just gonna let you have it, and we're gonna move on to John Old's mailbag. I had to extend the conversation because it was actually a good one. Kevin C. writes, 2014 Hart Trophy winner Sidney Crosby won't be needing surgery to fix his ailing wrist. Will Crosby be able to return to regular season form after a disappointing playoff run? He was bad.
Yeah, he really was, and they blamed that wrist injury or that his performance in the playoffs on that wrist injury at one point. If I was a Penguins fan, this would really worry me.
Yeah, is that okay? Does that really have anything to do with it? Like, can you blame after the fact? Oh yeah, it was his injury. Even though, did he talk about it during?
I mean, I don't think that in the NHL they're not really apt to lie like that. Like they'll come out and they'll say he has either an upper body injury or a lower body injury.
Well, they're not apt to tell. They're not apt to tell the truth.
Well, because you go after it.
But what I'm saying is when they say his wrist is a problem, then they say, yeah, he had that wrist injury during the playoffs.
Right. Well, the analysts can all speculate, but what I'm saying is that Sidney Crosby, a lot of other NHL players aren't going to come out and say, "Hey, I'm dealing with this. This
That's
is
true.
the problem."
That's true.
So you can't say, "Well, where was this? Why wasn't he talking about it?" Most players, particularly in the NHL, aren't going to say anything about their nagging injuries or use them as an excuse.
It's true. It's very true. But I mean, right now we're 2 months away from really getting going on the season here. Surgery might have been the way to go here. I mean, you don't want to have this be a lingering problem going into the season and then get off on a bad start because your star player is missing.
Yeah, he's not a guy who can miss time. He's the
Well,
guy in
they
Pittsburgh.
do have Evgeny Malkin, and he really he's been playing in Crosby's shadow much of his career.
Yeah, they need Crosby for the playoffs, but Malkin has no problem keeping them more than relevant during the season.
He's always played on another line. They did lose James Neal, so they lost some scoring there. They lost UC Jokinen, some role players that I think are going to be I think Pittsburgh's going to have a tough time. They need to have their number one player ready to go. He can't be messing around with a wrist injury.
Here's the big question for the Pittsburgh Penguins, though. Did they get a new goaltender?
No.
Okay, then what are we talking about?
They have everything sunk into Marc-Andre Fleury.
Why?
Because he was there. He was drafted number 1 overall when they drafted him. They're not going to give up on this guy.
Okay, Zach, didn't your team just sign Ryan Miller?
Yes.
He
What
was
are they
out
supposed
there.
to do? They have so much money committed to him. It's
They
not an
did.
option.
They gave him his contract. What was that, a couple years ago, right?
What?
They gave Fleury, yeah.
They have a lot of
extended
money
him.
sunk into Marc-Andre Fleury, and his playoff struggles aside, he has been a fantastic goaltender in the regular season. They just got to figure out what the heck's going on in the playoffs for him.
There's a problem where the puck goes behind him in the playoffs,
Well played, sir.
early and often. So
Well played.
he definitely needs to figure that out, but having Sidney Crosby 100% is probably a lot more
That
important.
is
Yeah,
number
and I
one.
think as long as he's 100%, he'll have a great bounce back. Even
I mean, he was the MVP this past season, regardless of that. So,
but you have to call it the Hart Trophy winner, because if you say MVP, people like NHL purists get really upset.
Yes,
about
you are
it.
correct. I am offended that I even used the.
I was going to say
MVP.
you said it. I actually wrote down Hart Trophy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know that you.
Did you just question Sidney Crosby's heart?
It's without an E.
He's all heart, baby.
That'd be really funny if the trophy was called the Hot Trophy. Got to get the hot. No? All right, we got to move on.
I'm sure they say that in Boston.
I was getting really ugly looks, so we're moving on.
Sure they say that where you hail from.
No, that's not what that reference is from, but okay.
Hot.
No, that's not what I was going for.
Hot.
What is going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
seriously,
losing
the
it
Star Fantasy League show is just off the rails today.
Tangents are fantastic.
This is what happens during the All-Star break. And speaking of the All-Star break, we actually got a question about it. Yay, this is over finally. Daniel J. writes, the MLB All-Star Game saw the final hurrah for Yankees star Derek Jeter. Was the game more of a fond farewell to Jeter or a celebration of future stars?
Is your fond farewell to Jeter going to be like, I'm really happy to see you go? Seems like it's shaping up to be like that.
He hasn't been
right
that good for the past couple seasons. I'd like to see him continue playing.
He's still hitting well above what the average is for the league. I don't know what his numbers are, but he's still hovering between 280 and 300.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I thought last season he was like a 260 or something.
I don't know. I'm not sure about this season, but he has a perennial 300 hitter. So regardless of that, this was actually a lot of fun.
Squashed.
Huh?
Last season was squashed.
Oh yeah, he played like 2 games.
Yeah.
Didn't he? Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
No, yeah. I thought
he's having a solid year.
Yeah, I thought last night was great. Yeah,
and it's good to see him going out with a solid year too. I mean, his work ethic, how he's been throughout the entire course of his career, has just been awesome. He deserves to go out with a solid year, and with all the respect that he deserves, and he got it last night.
That commercial was fantastic.
It was.
That Air Jordan commercial was that's one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, I did really like that.
It was great. I mean,
except it started with Lester, though. Come on now.
Yeah, Lester, one of the guys that I think he has more respect for Jeter than a lot of people can say they do, because he's faced him so many times. So when you face a player like that, competitors going head to head in the way that they have, you have to have respect for him. And I think that Lester has probably learned a lot from going up against Derek Jeter so many times. I think it's great.
I wore number 2 all throughout Little League.
Did you really?
I did.
For Derek
and
Jeter?
high school, yeah.
Oh, that's adorable.
It became my number.
That's so adorable.
Isn't that nice?
Mine's 14 for no reason at all.
I mean, he came in right when I was really getting going with baseball, collecting baseball cards and playing Little League. Derek Jeter was drafted.
You know, I don't know if you guys plan on having children, but if we get to that point in our lives, I know that I'm going to be able to talk to my kids about watching Derek Jeter play. And to me, that is something I'm going to cherish as a baseball fan.
You know who I'm going to talk about more than Derek Jeter? Junior.
Joe, really?
Yeah.
Ken Griffey.
Watching Ken Griffey Jr. play, if he could have
pretty.
stayed healthy for his whole career, I think he would have been the best ever.
His swing was a thing of beauty.
He was on pace to beat most of the records.
Yep, it's true.
All right, so now that we're all just loving and fawning over Derek Jeter, am I allowed to bring up the Wainwright, the faux controversy?
This was funny.
He claims
this was really funny.
He claims he grooved a pitch to Jeter, and Jeter doubled it down the line. But he said then he backtracked.
But yeah, he said. I mean, he actually said that. It wasn't like somebody was like, "Oh, rumor that
Well, no, I didn't hear it. Now, what was the context? Like, did he say it?
He said he grooved
with a half-joking manner. I don't know.
He said he wanted to throw him some hard strikes when he got up there, down the pipe a little bit. So I mean, and then he ended up getting interviewed by Aaron Andrews towards the end of the game. And he just tried to take – he's like, I didn't want to be a distraction. I'm so upset that I made that comment, and on and on and on, because this is not what I wanted.
So, but
I hate social media.
By grooved him a pit, like, what does that mean? That he threw him one that he could hit?
I don't think he actually said grooved. John, let's continue and let's get this quote up here.
I'm not actually going to be doing that during the show.
Well, what does that mean, though? Does that mean that he tried to give him a pitch to hit?
I don't know.
Or does that mean that he was trying to strike him out? Because I don't even understand
That's
that
what I'm saying.
unless I have context.
They kept saying the word. Everybody was repeating the word grooved in.
All right. Well, so if Adam Wainwright gave Derek Jeter a pitch to hit in his final All-Star game,
big deal.
If what?
I can't find it.
All right. If
Take 2 seconds.
Wainwright really gave Jeter a pitch to hit in his final All-Star game, and people are going to be upset about that,
deal.
They should go away. Go away. Go watch another sport.
You still can't come up after that and make an excuse for why it happened.
Just say it and shut
up.
up.
I wanted to give him a good pitch.
Yeah,
come on. You don't say that.
Why not?
Because I would want to strike him out.
Yeah.
But You're a living legend. You're going up
Right,
against a living
exactly.
legend.
You're a living legend who should get no easy pitches.
Yeah.
I disagree.
No free pass. He doesn't get a free pass.
Give the guy a little love for his last
Okay, well,
All-Star
maybe
game.
every team that is out of the playoffs for the down the stretch should just toss
groom.
up
Just keep
big
going.
grapefruits to him then.
No.
All right. On the other end of the spectrum, we have to talk about the guy who got the torch passed to him a little bit, and Mike Trout. Trout was the MVP of this game. Had a great game. Had some nice extra base hits. Had a double and a triple. And I feel like this is the point. Jeter's retiring. You have to have a new young golden boy, and I think this is the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he definitely is.
it's
Joe Buck
fitting.
got a little ahead of himself
Uh-oh.
at the end of the game, saying that he could be one of the best ever. Time will tell, or some garbage like that. But right now, he is one of the best in the game. He is an ambassador for the game by the way he conducts himself, and it's been refreshing since he came in. This is a guy that plays hard every single day. He's a great pure player, though he's got power, he's got speed, unbelievable outfielder.
So you're saying he's better for the game than the guy who went 0-for in the All-Star game and acted like a jerk all weekend, Yasiel Puig.
Yes.
Not someone we want representing the game. If you had to choose between Puig and Trout for the next 10 years, who would it be?
America.
Mikey, baby.
Wow, you would choose America.
Mikey.
I don't think that was one of the two things we said.
Trout is the man.
You could chant USA again? Go ahead.
I missed the World Baseball Classic.
Oh, that's so sad. All right, coming up after the break, we got a breakdown of the AL and NL West at the midway point, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League show with Donald, Teddy Bear 2, and the Deucey Moose. Only on the Team.
There it is, boys. Ducey, Teddy, and Jonald back together again. He finally figured out how to say it. After yesterday, he got a little serious on us.
We're on a hot streak now with limited degrees of separation.
What?
We're close-knit. We're together.
Oh, he's just saying some weird things right now. Are we gonna have a debate on coming down the pipe again?
No.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Pipe?
Wrong.
That's what he said.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it. I've never heard that term. If you've heard that term, please.
How have you never heard that?
I don't know. Please tweet us at SFL Show if you've heard the term "down the pipe" before.
Down the pipe, right down the middle.
Down the pipe.
Who throws a pipe?
And what is the pike? Are we talking about the Mass Turnpike?
Yes, we are.
The New Jersey Turnpike.
If you're listening, if you're trying to listen,
coming down the pike.
Yeah, if you're trying to
like
listen to
she's
the Red Sox
coming round
game,
the mountain
you know
when
what the
she
pipe.
comes.
Wow, it is. You know what? It is Wednesday. We are allowed to sing on this show.
I trust
coming
Adam
around the
Wainwright over you,
turnpike.
so...
Yeah, can we talk about that for a second? Remember how we said Adam Wainwright should not be starting that game? Yeah, that was right.
I said that
I
he
felt pretty good about
deserved
that,
it.
yeah.
You know he's leading the NL in ERA if you don't count Clayton Kershaw.
I was saying,
because
if you don't count the best guy in the league, that guy
I still think Felix Hernandez is better.
in the league.
Yeah.
The NL. The
okay.
league that he could start in.
In the major league, I say Felix.
Oh my.
Wow.
Oh my.
He pitches in the American League where they have a designated
what?
hitter,
This is
and
actually-
he still has a 2.1 ERA.
This is good that we're having this debate because today on the show we are talking AL West and NL West at the midway point, and guess what? Both those pitchers are in these divisions,
Segway.
You know there's only one Kershaw in MLB history?
and his
did
name
not know that.
is Clay Tone.
Well, that's sweet.
All right, but we're starting out in the AL West division that seems a little upside down if you're looking at it because there's a team that happens to be at the bottom. It's the Texas Rangers. Did anyone expect this to happen?
Well, no, because injuries have played their role with this team.
Are these numbers incorrect?
What?
21 games back?
Yeah, they're 21 games behind.
They have 38 wins.
Remember, though, that they have the best team in baseball in their division in Oakland, who has an absurd 59 wins.
Well, and also the Angels
So the
are
separation.
The Angels are
No,
only
I know.
2 games back.
That's what I'm saying, though, is that the separation between first and last in this division
Is
is going to be a
massive,
little bit
yeah.
more. But, yeah, no, the Rangers, they're just
Yeah,
suffering
like
from the injury
double?
bug.
Yes.
Like double most of the larger numbers?
Well, yeah. Okay, but anyway, so Prince Fielder, he's gone. Jurickson Profar was lost before the season. He was supposed to be Ian Kinsler's replacement. So there you go. Mitch Moreland's out. Matt Harrison, their starting pitcher. I mean, I think they're just looking forward to next year. They don't have any choice.
Their pitching staff is dubbed Yu Darvish and the Chuds because
pretty-
it
yeah.
is. It's outside of you.
been dubbed that.
And
Yeah,
let's
it's
be
really
let's
good.
be honest. Even you against Oakland has been just hittable. He's looked awful this year.
But
he's had a
he's-
couple starts that haven't been great, but his ERA is still fine.
Yeah, but he'll be great. I mean, next year they have all of their big bats locked up long term. Beltre, Rios. Fielder. They have all these guys locked up long term, so this year's pretty much just a wash.
Except for the worst trade in history, Kinsler
I disagree.
for Prince Fielder.
You know what? Fielder was hurt, and I just, he didn't even really get a chance to get going. I do think he was definitely a letdown. He was definitely a chud, but at the same time, he was hurt. So what can you say?
But they got to dump money too, which is crazy.
Yeah. We've spent a little bit too much time talking about the team that only has 38 wins. So let's move on to a team that is just, they bore me. They're terrible. They're not trying either. Houston, they have a bunch of young guys. Altuve's been really, really solid. He made the All-Star team. I think he actually had an RBI last night too, I believe. Yep. But outside of that, I mean, their pitchers have quietly been pretty good.
Well, Keuchel and McHugh, yeah.
Even Cosart's been fairly decent.
I think that if this team wants to get in the playoffs consistently, if they want to have a shot at actually winning a World Series, which is the ultimate goal, I don't think that they're going to have Cosart, Peacock, or Feldman in their rotation.
No.
They might also want to have a lineup too.
Yeah, but they have some youth. I mean, their bats are nothing good. They're not good. But at the same time, they do have some guys in their farm system that have been coming up that I think future will tell, time will tell. But no, this team.
I feel like
has been
Houston's
really bad.
always in that holding pattern. They're like,
the rebuilding years are like a decade now.
That's true.
Has it really been
since
that long?
the Bagwell-Biggio era?
They were in the World Series.
Yeah.
That was post Bagwell and Biggio. That was like
that's what I'm saying. I think it was
like 10 years.
It was 2005.
Yeah. Okay, it does seem like a long time, but I don't think it's been too long.
2005.
Yeah,
it was the year they lost the White Sox.
At this point, it's getting long for them to be like bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Seattle, surprisingly, is 7 games over 500. I'm very impressed with this because they finally figured out how to hit, but they still can't hit overall.
Yeah, their offense is not good.
No. Cano definitely helped. I mean, it's a guy who's consistently can hit the ball.
Yep.
But the power's not there this season.
Yeah. I mean, Cano and Kyle Seager have really been the two that have carried this team on offense.
Yeah, Smoke's been a disappointment.
Cano's still a little disappointed, but you have to think how much that right field porch had an effect on him in New York. It was such a benefit.
Oh, absolutely. But also having hitters around him helps too, and they don't have enough. So, pitching has carried this team. King Felix, Iwakuma, those two have been just solid at the top of the rotation.
But they don't have a chance, let's be honest.
I disagree. I really do. They're in the wild card right now.
Hunt. Yeah, technically.
They're in the wild card, and I got to be honest, if you had Seattle versus LA in a wild card matchup, you have King Felix. You have Felix Hernandez, so they have the ace in the hole.
Yeah, let's talk about the Angels and Oakland are obviously fighting it out for the number 1 seed here. They're both going to get in the playoffs more than likely.
Yeah.
One of these guys will get the top wild card.
Yeah, because what are they, like 6 games up, 7 games up on Seattle, who's second for the wild card? Yeah.
Yep. So the Angels, man, their rotation has looked extremely shaky outside of Garrett at the top.
Well, I mean, C.J. Wilson is still pretty dominant
ERA
at times.
hasn't been. He's been.
Yeah, but he's still been pretty dominant at times.
And he's got the potential to be really dominant.
What about Weaver? Weaver's supposed to be the guy. He's kind of been in and out.
10-6 is pretty solid, but I mean, no. The thing of it is that Garrett Richards, like you said, he is really the guy. He is the guy that's going to make this rotation what it should be. 11-2, and everything I've heard from a lot of the best players in the majors, they say that they're afraid to face Garrett Richards.
He's got filthy stuff.
Yeah.
I know I've played him a few times on StarFantasyLeagues.com in the free rolls, and he's been lights out.
I think their biggest problem is in the bullpen because they don't have a really proven closer. Right now they're using Joe Smith, but they traded Ernesto Frieri for Jason Grilli, so they basically traded a struggling closer for a struggling closer.
Yep.
So I think with a lot of what I've heard is that there's rumors that they will be going after a closer, possibly Huston Street. Would be really nice if they added him. And I don't know, their offense is, I could argue that they would be the best in the majors.
Interesting.
I mean,
that is definitely arguable. That's what they're relying upon.
Yeah.
And that's
Big
what they're
bats.
going to be relying upon when it comes playoff time.
All right, how about a team that has a legitimate shot to win the World Series this year? The Oakland Athletics, second in runs scored, first in runs allowed. They're tied in that category. But, man, they have a great team. And these numbers are only going to get better adding Hamill and Samardzija right before the break.
I think the biggest thing for them is their versatility. They can literally rotate guys in at will. They have John Jaso, Punto, Gentry, Norris, and Sogard. All of these guys are not really starters, but they rotate in and they play. They've all played over 50 games.
Yeah, it's a platoon.
Yeah, significant improvement in their power, but they also have such a great amount of speed, which is a huge asset come playoff time. And yeah, I mean they are looking like the team to beat right now. The way they're playing And with that addition of Samardzija and Hamill, it's hard to complain about this rotation.
Yeah, Gray, Samardzija, Casimir, Hamill, Chavez. That's their starting five.
That's really
That's
dirty.
a very solid
but
starting
only
five.
3 or 4 of them are going to be used in the playoffs if it comes to it. So
but I mean, you could say, hey, one of these guys goes down, got another one right behind it.
Long reliever if you need him for a couple innings.
Yep.
You got a perfect team. I think they're the favorites right now.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to the NL West. I'm going to group the 3 teams at the bottom in the same spot because they're all within basically a game and a half of each other.
So bad.
San Diego, Colorado, Arizona. The big team that stands out here is Colorado. Number 1 in runs scored in the National League. Last in runs allowed. This rotation is just a bag of like Funyuns. It's all broken. Nothing really fits together, and it tastes disgusting. So
I think they've started a few first-time big league pitchers,
and they're all lefties.
Yeah, and they're really searching for something. What I gotta say, I am so surprised they didn't make a trade or at least make a play for Jeff Samardzija. I can't believe that they didn't make any push there.
Imagine if he goes from Wrigley, just a bandbox, to Coors Field.
Yeah,
it's just
that
poor
would've been
guy.
bad.
You'd be like, you played your entire career in just awful parks for pitchers.
But even still, I mean, they have so much depth offensively. They could have made something.
Yeah,
they could have put some.
They had a
package
bunch
together.
of injuries earlier in the season. Gonzalez went down. A couple of the outfielders went down. Also,
we saw Corey Dickerson step
Arenado
up.
went down.
Fargo every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, they still were fine. They were still the best offense in the league. But behind that, nothing going.
Nope.
Arizona, they're not a real team.
And they're worse than they're behind the Padres in the standings. The Padres have the worst offense I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's what I have written down. The worst offense in the majors. The Petco definitely helps that stat, but their offense is just atrocious. Nobody over $8,000 on StarFantasy.com, which is just staggering.
That's just bad.
Seth Smith is the highest rated player, and sad. All right, let's talk about the top 2 guys to close out the segment. We got the Dodgers of Los Angeles. No nickname there. We're just calling them the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh yeah.
Not Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim under the 405 freeway.
Well, we reserved that for you.
I didn't actually say it.
I know. I can't
forgot.
believe you didn't say it.
I know.
You love that.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm really sorry.
I'm sure you'll make up for it several times over.
Yeah, eventually. So we got the Dodgers and we got San Francisco. San Francisco had a nice big lead, but for the
9.5 games.
Yeah, for the second year in a row, the Dodgers have gone on a stupid win streak and just okay, we'll take it.
The good thing that the Giants have working for them is that we're at the All-Star break. They still have a chance to come right back in this thing. So they're only 1 game back. I think the Dodgers have the upper hand because of their pitching rotation.
Yeah, massive.
It's
I think they
insane.
have massive upper hand. That's an understatement.
As soon as Beckett comes back from injury, I think they said he's only supposed to miss 1 start. As soon as he comes back, this rotation is just lethal.
Yeah, their worst pitcher in the rotation right now is Dan Herron, who's actually a solid pitcher with a 4.23 ERA. If that's your worst starter, you're doing something right.
Yeah, and the Giants don't have that same dominant staff that they've had in recent years, and not able to back that up with consistent hitting. I just think it's going to be difficult for them.
The Giants have name value in their rotation. It's not holding up. Like Lincecum's he's had his no hitter this season, had a really good start after that. But other than that, he's been pretty shaky.
Their best pitcher is like 80 years old.
Tim Hudson?
Yeah.
But
I
Tim
mean, he's
Hudson's
done really
been
well.
pretty-
287 is fantastic.
Significant drop-off from Matt Cain this year.
Oh, my God.
And you know what the funniest thing? Their offense has actually been pretty decent, but it's guys that nobody really knows. I mean, Hunter Pence he still isn't a household name. He made the All-Star game.
Yeah, I mean, he's good, and he was good when they won the World Series.
Yeah.
He was crucial
Brandon
when they won the World
Crawford,
Series.
guys that these people normally, Buster Posey, you probably know Kung Fu Panda by now, but it's a lot of these guys that maybe
Michael Morris.
Yeah, the normal baseball fan doesn't know, and that's why this team is kind of just a little under the radar.
The thing is that this team always has that potential to suddenly pull it all together towards the end.
And then all of a sudden they're in it for the World Series again.
And they're in the right spot, that's for sure.
They could do it. They have proven guys who can do it in the playoffs, which definitely helps.
Plus, they have a proven closer.
Yep. And the Los Angeles Dodgers, what can we say? A lot of great offensive guys, the best staff in the majors overall. What is not to like about this team? Why are they not 20 games up on this?
Well, they didn't have outstanding start to the season. I think they've really pulled it all together. Got guys that weren't contributing early on, contributing now. So, and then there's a lot of people in that lineup that can improve significantly based on their past performance.
Yeah, and they have some big bats that you just can't ignore. So I think they have a great shot, and I think they should probably run away with this division.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the Dodgers finally do it. Let's see them in the World Series. I'm curious what they do.
World Series.
All right, we come back. We got all the awards for the half season for AL West and NL West, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
Boy, howdy. That was a fun segment we just had, right? You guys enjoyed that?
Yay.
Did we just go John Old Country style?
Yes, we did.
Nice.
That happened.
I
Well,
like it.
you didn't. We're in the West. It's the
support
Wild
it.
West. I had to get a little country.
I support it.
I'm sorry. Does that happen?
Fine with me.
All right. What we're doing in this segment is we have the under the radar fantasy stud and fantasy chud for both the AL West and NL West on tomorrow's show. Still reeling from no baseball going on. It's another off day before they kick back into gear on Friday. We'll be recapping all of the major leagues at the midway point and then giving you some fun awards that we haven't really figured out yet. But we'll figure it out eventually, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's start off with the under the radar for the AL West. Where are we going, Zach?
I'm going with Chavez in Oakland.
Yeah?
I think that he's the guy in this staff, especially with the trade and the new guys coming in, that may not be looked at as often, but we've seen last year he's a guy that can get a lot of strikeouts. He's got an offense that really bolsters him and everybody else in the rotation, obviously. But I think he could get a lot of wins and a lot of strikeouts in the second half.
Solid. I'm going to go with Eric Sogard and Nick Punto. It's going to be a little bit of a timeshare there. Alberto Callaspo, he might miss some extended time with a hamstring injury, so definitely going there.
All right, and I have the Houston Astros pitchers, McHugh and Keuchel, because nobody's talking about them. They've actually been pretty solid this year in Houston for a team that just hasn't really been doing much. These pitchers have been great in fantasy, to be honest. I played Keuchel a couple times, McHugh a couple times. They're solid. What about the NL West, Zach?
I've got Matt Kemp.
Ooh, Matt Kemp.
Who was really bad early on. He was down there or in the 220s. He's boosted his average up to the high 260s. I think he's a big threat. He's got a lot of power in front of him. He's going to get those at-bats, going to get those opportunities. I think he could have a great second half.
I got Mark Trumbo. He's coming off the DL, started off the season with 7 home runs in 24 games. Just coming back now, and I think he's got the power to get it done.
Arizona needs him. And I have a guy that I can't believe is under the radar, Deke Gordon. The man has 43 stolen bases, batting .292, 5 home runs, 26 RBIs.
Insane.
In a lineup that he's like the 6th best guy.
Totally.
Yeah, Dodgers are really good. All right, what about your fantasy stud for the AL West? Stud, not chud.
I'm just going to take the A's offense.
Okay, good for you. I like that. No explanation needed. The A's offense.
Absolutely dominant. I mean, you wouldn't think that the two leaders, possible, but with the two guys that are with Moss and Donaldson leading in home runs, you would have thought Cespedes would be the guy at the top of that list. Just so much power. It's been stunning.
They're good.
I got Felix Hernandez, the king. He's just been mowing people down. 11-2 record, 2.12 ERA, best pitcher in baseball. I said it.
And I have Mike Trout. No explanation needed. The man has been absolutely dominant. He's the future of baseball. What about in the NL West?
In the NL West, I am looking at – hold on, I lost my sheet here. I am looking at Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, I
agree. I think it's a basic shoo-in. I don't think there's really any other way you can go with this.
100% agree.
That's all we need. Moving on, let's go with the fantasy chud, everybody's favorite for the AL West.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chu.
Mr. Chu.
Yeah.
Shin Chu Chu?
Shin Chu Chu. Just not exhibiting the type of power that we've come to expect from him, not having that great of a season.
I got Prince Fielder. I know he's hurt, and I know he's done for the season, but even before his
shame
injury.
on you. You're picking on
forget that.
Prince?
Forget that. 247. You get paid way too much at 247. Get out of here.
That's not very nice. All right, my King Chud, what a surprise. It's Wade Miley.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't not
Smiley.
pick him. Wade
Isn't he
Miley.
the NL?
Yeah. Oh, we're in the AL.
Yeah, we're in the
I'm
AL.
sorry, Colby Lewis. Terrible.
Colby Lewis.
And the NL, I have to go with Wade Miley. You guys quick? Who you got?
In the NL, I'm going with Andre Ethier. Hasn't been what we've come
I
to
got
expect.
Matt Kemp. I can't believe you picked
You
him
picked
for under
Matt
the radar.
Kemp for Chud?
No, he's 760. OPS is horrible. He should be better than that.
Major bounce back coming.
I'm sorry. I said Wade Miley quick because I hate Wade Miley so much. He's my King Chud. Seriously, he's the worst.
Watch out for Matt Kemp.
All right, and if you
Don't
guys are picking on poor Prince Fielder, shame on you.
Loser.
Shame on you.
He's got a cute son.
Take it easy, guys.